a live comedy showcase, live stream with comedians in their quarantine states and bringing laughter to everybody, as it's being described, to raise as much money to help comedians who are and others who are battling COVID-19. ComedyGivesBack.com is how you can learn more and how you can stream it live on Twitch, Twitter, the Laugh Lounge app, and Comedy Central's YouTube channel starting at 7 Eastern tomorrow at 4 Pacific on the 4th of April. And one of the comedians, one of our friends here from The Rich Eisen Show joining us, Bill Burr. How are you, Bill?
Rich, how you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there. Everybody in your family, everybody good, healthy, best we can tell?
Everybody is symptom-free. We have been, I don't think I've been to the end of my driveway in 3 days.
Is that right? It's been
I'm just doing what they're saying. I went out to get the trash cans and bring them back in, but I'm just doing what they're telling me to do for once. I'm going to be the contrarian comedian. I get that this is a serious thing.
Yes.
I downplayed the whole thing. They're overreacting, but I did that for a little bit. And then I was just like, all right, they shut down the city. This looks like a Snake Plissken movie here. So I'm just going to stay in until they tell me it's okay. I mean, I go out for drives every 2-3 days. The wife and kid, we go a little stir crazy. So we'll go out for like a drive, windows up and that type of thing.
Right.
And,
no, I know that
provisions. That's about it.
Yeah, I know, and it's obviously something very serious. But you're in a position, just like in a way that we are, where a lot of people are looking for a break. They're looking for a break. They're looking for some sort of escape, while understanding that the world is, crumbling in many ways. That they want to feel normal. They want to have a laugh, and that's where this comes in. How's this going to work tomorrow? You got like a time? Like it's just basically like a live stream comedy club where you got a set time for you to go up and do your set somewhere? I mean, how's that going to work tomorrow?
No, it's more like what we did was I do a podcast with Bert Kreischer, star of Hey Big Boy, on Netflix, streaming now. Look at that little team effort.
I love
there.
it. That guy's great.
He's the best. So I do a podcast with him called the Bill Burt Podcast, and Tom Papa is going to be the host, and he's going to just throw it to us, and we're going to do just 12 minutes. We're both such a couple of dopes that just us talking, evidently, everybody just laughs at us, and I don't know, makes people laugh and stuff. But Bill, it's a little more deeper than that. But I've been doing this thing with Bert for like the last year, and I'm just having such a great time doing a podcast with him. So hopefully people will tune in. But Conan's doing something, Jimmy Fallon, Adam Sandler. We won't be singing Imagine, so don't worry. And
I didn't see you in Gal's Instagram, Bill. I didn't see you in that one.
I just feel like, I don't know who talked them into that. Like, how is this going to work? It's just one of those things. I feel bad because, their heart was in the right place.
Right.
And you go out there and you got to sing a cappella in like your yard, and you don't know what key anybody else is really singing in. You sort of know the key, right? And the whole thing is God bless it.
Well,
you hate to see it, Rich. You hate to see it.
What song would you have chosen, Bill? You got a good song that you would have for the?
I probably What's Next to the Moon, AC/DC. I would go like deep cut. I'd go a deep cut. So they wouldn't notice that I was singing bad. They'd be like, oh, I know this song. What is this? They'd be so focused on that, maybe I'd get away with it. But if you sing a huge hit like Imagine, they're like, this is John Lennon, Imagine.
Right.
What the hell are you doing this for? I like when they go, Imagine There's No Heaven, and everybody got offended by that. Why would you say that during this time? It's like, the song's been out for like 50 years. They've been saying it forever, all right? Just now you get offended in 2020? Sorry.
Bill Burr here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, man. Brady's a Buccaneer. How are you handling that one?
Dude, it took me 2 weeks, and then this wave of sadness hit me that I finally realized, because I was dealing with, are they ever going to have pork chops again? And there was a whole stupid run of at the grocery stores, like chickens had coronavirus when they didn't. It took me 2 weeks for it to finally hit me, and then this real sadness, the sadness of when a great player retires or moves on to another team. I'll even say as a Red Sox fan, it took me 2 seasons of watching the Yankees to stop looking for Derek Jeter at shortstop and just feeling the void of that level of greatness. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity for Bill Belichick to write the third great chapter, I think, of his greatest head coaching career of all time, if he goes out and gets somebody. And, I mean, I will say this. If I can set aside my emotions, the NFC South with Drew Brees and Matty Ice there,
yep.
and that's going to be fun. And if Cam Newton just left, though, right?
Well, he's definitely not coming back, I don't think. It's going to be Teddy Bridgewater fresh off of New Orleans. And, I mean, Teddy's got some ability with a new coaching staff and all that business. It is going to be pretty dynamite. But it's just going to be odd, Bill, seeing Brady and Pewter, you know? And that's going to be the first time you see him in that Buccaneer jersey, you know?
Well, here's a game that me and my friends play is like, you play like the greatest player in that uniform they retired in, like which broke your heart the most.
Right.
Like I would say for the older generation it was probably Johnny Unitas in a Chargers uniform, or
right.
Joe Namath in the Rams. Do you remember Tony Dorsett in a Broncos
I don't remember
jersey?
that.
He played 1 season for them.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith went to
Arizona.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, maybe. That's right, Phoenix.
Oh, my buddy's got a great one. Patrick Ewing with the Seattle Sonics. That was a tough one.
They should be just a trading card pack. Yeah.
Brett Favre in Jets and Vikings was hard. And I'm going to say Brady. But the thing is, too, is they also passed, like, their prime. And, like, Tom Brady, like, got a lot of crap last year. But it was really, like, the receiving core that we had. Like, Gronk just demanded double coverage and that would get Edelman open. So all you had to do now was, once he was gone, I think that we were gambling that he wasn't going to retire and would change his mind. When he didn't, we got caught a little flat-footed. And then every team just doubled Edelman, and the other guys needed to step up. Like, you know, there'd be a blitz, and they wouldn't cut off their routes. The amount of times I saw Brady thrown to a guy's back who hadn't even turned around. So I think he still has 2 seasons in him. And I'm going to root like hell for that guy, because that's the only thing I can do other than cry on Sundays. But, like, I'm going to just root like hell. I hope he gets number 7 and 8. And then I hope also Belichick, you know, obviously finds his next quarterback. But, you know, I don't know. You knew this day was coming because Brady was 42. Belichick's close to 70. Bob Kraft is, you know, I'm feeling like we're the Steelers around 1980 or 81, and all of a sudden everybody got old. You know,
yeah, I like
happened,
that.
Which, by the way, I'm reading a killer book right now.
Yeah.
Called Their Life's Work: The Brotherhood of the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers, Then and Now. That's what makes it great. And then also a lot of the great games they're talking about you can watch on YouTube. Like last night I watched the Raiders versus the Steelers, 1974 AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And this is before the Steelers won their first ring. And the week before, the Raiders had beaten the Dolphins, who had just gone back-to-back. And John Madden, very rare mistake, evidently said the 2 best teams played last week. And I guess Chuck Noll was never a guy big on emotions. He was just an X and O's guy. It pissed him off so much he was in the meeting, and all the players were sitting in those student desks where the desk part is attached to the chair. They were all sitting in those, and he goes, John Madden said the best 2 teams played last week. Well, I think he's wrong, because the best team, in my opinion, is sitting right in this room. And Joe Green was so excited he stood up and fist pumped and took the whole desk with him. And the second I read that, I was like, I got to see if this game is online. And I put it on, and it's incredible. It's the Raiders. They're 2 years away from that 76 team that actually beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you talk to anybody in Pittsburgh that knows their football, like Joe Bartnick was telling me, that was the best Steeler team. It's just Rocky Bleier and Franco Harris both got hurt late in the season, and it was just like out of dumb luck. But they actually, you know, if those guys were both healthy, according to Pittsburgh fans, they would have three-peated, which has never been done. They would have three-peated easily.
You said how much?
Pittsburgh in that game, Bill, scored 21 in the fourth quarter to win. Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier combined for over 200 yards rushing in that game.
Yeah, and they had been shutting down. That Raiders defense had really been shutting down the run, so it was a big surprise that they ran all those. Yeah, they shut down Zonka and Jim Kick probably. Was probably who was playing for Miami the week before.
Love it.
I love that stuff, man. I have a whole football card collection, just all the 70s. From 1970 right through 79. I got all the and you know what else is great? Is Kurt Gowdy and Dandy Don Meredith do the play-by-play and the color. And when you just look at how much the game has changed, like, first of all, the game's it's like in the afternoon. It's like 1 in the afternoon, right?
Right.
And it just starts when it comes to broadcast like they're lining up for the kickoff. And they just kick it off, no pomp, no circumstance. And when they cut to the crowd, that's the best. You can't find one jersey. Nobody's wearing a jersey. Everybody's wearing street clothes. Half the people look like they could be in that Ron Burgundy Anchorman movie. Just the way people dress, smoking in the crowd. And it's really like, it was so just sports fans. And Kurt Gowdy brings something up that I started to watch. I went down this rabbit hole. It's called NFL 74, the Championship Chase.
What is that, Bill Burr? What is that?
That's the highlight of the whole 1974 season. And there was there's a great Patriot that was forgot in history. Undersized kid named Mac Herron. He's known as Mini Mac. He was 5'5.5".
Yeah.
He had to go to the CFL. The Patriots signed him. He set a record for all-purpose yardage that stood for 30 years on kickoff, punt, receiving, and running yardage. He'd disappear John Hanna used to laugh that he would disappear into the pile, and they couldn't find him, and he would shoot out. And but the problem was he partied a little too much. It messed up his career, and this is why he left the Patriots. He ended up having a big party at his house, and half the Patriots were there. So Chuck Fairbanks shipped him out because a lot of people don't remember. That year, the Patriots –
this is amazing.
I think it was 74. That year, the Patriots, in a 3-week period, beat the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins. Then they beat the Raiders, and then they beat the Steelers. 3 weeks in a row. But then we lost to Burt Jones and the Colts.
Burt Jones.
So the Patriots and the Colts were sort of this up-and-coming thing, but everybody knew it was Dolphins, Raiders, or Steelers. And but anyways, Mac Herron – people should, and I'm surprised I couldn't remember that, but Mac Herron should have been brought up when Isaiah Thomas with the Celtics had that 2-year run where he was this undersized guy that the whole city fell in love with. That was sort of the second coming of Mac Herron.
Mac Herron, I guess, was, you could say, as Danny Woodhead before Danny Woodhead was even born, I guess, back in the day. This is great conversation here with Bill Burr. We were talking before, too, Bill, Chris Brockman and I, about, some of the old classic games that we're beginning to see a little bit more on cable and broadcast television, about how, you're watching those games. There's no yellow line to let you know where the first down is. There's no blue line to let you know where the line of scrimmage is. There's no score box. You don't know how much time's left on the clock. And we're so totally coddled as viewers of TV now, and
also just like how much the NFL was just catering to football fans back there, and now they do it's like they're just commercial fishing, just throwing out let's have Shakira and J-Lo. Some of the Super Bowls, from the 70s up on YouTube, and you watch them, and the halftime show is like a local college band.
Yeah.
Just going out
with
and
people.
Playing, yeah, that's it.
Up with people.
And just And also, the game was played at Tulane University so many times, and the game was just on in the afternoon.
Yep, not anymore.
It wasn't the Super Bowl Sunday and all of that stuff. None of that existed. And the NHL, what I can't believe is how much slower the game was and how much smaller the players were, to the point they almost need to make the rinks bigger. If you look at all the open ice in the 80s, the heyday was the perfect combination. The 80s was the perfect combination of the enforcers and finesse players. You had some of the greatest like the Wayne Gretzky of enforcers, Bob Probert, and you literally had Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and all Eiserman and all of these guys, and putting up 60, 70, 80, 90 goals. was incredible.
Yeah,
but then what killed it was Patrick Waugh came in and showed him the butterfly, and then that was it. That was it. And then they got big, and the pads got big. Dude, Paul Coffey scored like 50 goals as a defenseman one year. I mean, it's just unheard of.
It's the great. Bill Burr in quarantine is one of the greatest sports historians I've ever met. I mean, let's be very honest. This is one of Bill Burr sheltered in place has been is one of the greatest sports history conversations I think I've ever had.
I can only talk 70s and 80s because in '92 I started stand up and I missed like this chunk. It's
okay.
Almost like with music. No matter how much I try and listen to new music, I'm always going to end up going back to AC/DC and Aerosmith and stuff from my childhood. Like, I don't know, there's a different feeling when you listen to that. And I feel the same thing. Like, I think when I was a kid, like, I still had the hope that I was going to make it to professional sports. And then by the 90s, I knew the dream was over. So, and I was watching kids at that point who I was older than. Yeah. Who made it happen and I didn't. So
let me ask you.
Some of the luster was gone.
Bill, before I let you go, you mentioned Jeter before, and when you were referencing Brady about how it took you so long to stop looking for Jeter when Yankee games were on after Jeter left. You know, Jeter is technically Tom Brady's landlord now. Did you see that mansion that Brady apparently moved into Jeter's mansion in Tampa, St. Pete? Did you see that story? Did you miss that?
No, I did not. But I was joking on my podcast that Tom Brady did what every old white guy does in Massachusetts after a while. You get sick of the winters, so you move to Florida, you know, and then you also don't have to pay state tax. And also, there's some rule in there where every state has some sort of real estate rule that if you get sued, like the first so many dollars of your house you can't touch. Some states it's $500,000, some states it's $1 million. Florida is unlimited, so nobody can touch your real estate. So everyone from Tom Brady to O.J. Simpson takes advantage of that.
Well, Brady's moving into Derek Jeter's 30,875 square foot spot, if you will, in South Tampa. So Jeter, I think, is Brady's landlord. I wonder how that relationship's going to be. You know.
I thought you were going to say that was Jeter's guest house, 30,000 square feet.
It could be his on-deck circle. Yeah.
Here's the thing. He's married to a supermodel, Tom Brady is, and I think she might like the weather in Florida, but, like, she's not going to be able to handle Tampa is – okay, Miami is where, like, all the sexy people go to visit and buy a house or whatever, but, like, Tampa is that's real Florida. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I guess you're not allowed to because they listen.
What do you?
Well, that's like, you know, trucks with the silver balls hanging on. Like my truck has balls. People shooting each other because they were arguing about how long that alligator was last night. That was 18-footer. Next thing you know, they shoot each other. That, you know, mess. I mean, that's real. You know, that red-headed guy with the busted teeth that started Scientology. That's right in there. That's Florida.
And that's where Brady's going to play, man. That's where he's going. Oh, Bill, I needed that laugh.
Down there.
Man, I needed that laugh. You're the man.
Don't worry about it.
What time are you on tomorrow? Do you know exactly what time you and Bert are on tomorrow?
You know, I don't know how it works.
All right.
I don't know how it works.
Just check it out. It starts at 7 Eastern and eventually get up there.
And starts and then 4 o'clock Pacific. That's all I know.
Yep.
So it's 4 at 4 p.m. out here, West Coast time. We're going to try to make you laugh. And, dude, I got just as much out of making you laugh. Believe me, dude. I'm Jones. This is the longest I've ever gone without doing stand-up or anything. I'm just going in the garage and playing drums like an hour a day. I feel like I still live at home with my parents like 30 years ago. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for the cellar lights to flick on and off to let me know that it's time for dinner.
And you're trying your material out on your kid? Is it you're just using your good stuff in the house? What are you doing? Just workshopping it, walking around?
You know what? I'm not chasing it. I found out a long time ago the way to get in the zone with whatever that you do is you can't care and you can't think about it. You just have to go up there and just do it or just kind of let it happen. So if I lose some jokes and I forget them, so be it. I don't care. I mean, who's kidding who? Who gives a F about my act? The big thing is everybody's got to get healthy so we can all get back out there again.
Bingo.
And
Bingo.
enjoy some damn sports.
That's right. I appreciate
I'm watching American Ninja Warrior, for God's sake. I mean, what are we doing here?
It's like
Dude, by the way, that show does more backstories than the friggin' Olympics.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know. I feel.
You're not going to get me to.
I feel. By the way, I watch it with my.
You're not going to get me to cry. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's on all the time. No, American Ninja Warrior is the Law and Order of sports television. It's on all the time. It's. Okay. And the backstories, these people, you learn about them, and within 2 seconds, they're wet in the pool and they're done. And they're like, why'd you introduce me to somebody that lasts 5 seconds? I don't understand it. But that's the whole thing. It's my kids can't get enough of it. We can't get enough of it. It's amazing.
Well, what is great though, is the thing that propels that show.
Yeah.
Is not the people as much as they try to make it. It's the obstacle course. That's them moving the story along. So each year, that obstacle course has to get harder and harder. And I hadn't watched it in like a year. And this stuff that they have these people doing, I mean, if you get through that whole course, you would get like a fist bump from Spider-Man. Because it is like, you're grabbing onto a log, rolling down a hill. They got then they had the Spider-Man jump.
Yep.
And then they got just the degree of difficulty, the stuff that you have to hang on to. I mean, it's like some of the stuff that was the end of the obstacle course is now in the middle.
That's
like, I remember this was the hard thing nobody could get past. This is just like, hey, and we're in the second quarter, and he's upside down. What about, you ever seen when they go down that hill and they're hanging on to basically, it's like a box that has like chin-up bars on it.
It's crazy.
And as it rolls, they got to move their. It's insane.
Bill, you're the man.
Jones level stuff. All right, sorry, man. I went too long.
It's all good. Thanks for the call, Bill. Let's stay in touch. Let's get you out more. Let's all stay inside and watch Bill and the rest of his comedy friends tomorrow to pass the time and raise some money. And I appreciate the call, Bill. You take care of yourself.
All right, go Blue.
Right back at you, man. That's it. ComedyGivesBack.com to learn more.